My name is Kryptomedic. Here we have my partner,
Nuklear, MC.
We both represent Eat Brain, Blackout. Hal, Nuklear here is with Ram as of late, as many of you have heard with the audio. Today, we'd like to welcome you to, as far as we know, the world's first international MC Masterclass for drum and bass. So, yeah, thank you for coming. We're going to look at the program right here and just look at what we're going to go through. We're going to do a brief introduction, then the road taken, where each artist, Hal and myself, will be speaking about how we've personally achieved our success and the roads that we've taken throughout the industry, because, usually it's involving much more than just being an MC. After that, we're going to go into a little a cappella freestyle session where we'll spit back to back. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Just kind of freestyle this one. And then a song breakdown where we will both be playing tracks, looking at our lyrics, and talking about how we came to choose those lyrics or choose, and the lyrical placement and where they are, how long they are, how fast they are, all those kind of things. After that, we'll have a question and answer, small Q&A for whoever wants to shoot some questions to us, and then we'll have some closing words where we both give pro tips, a couple more thoughts on the art of hosting, of emceeing, and the music in general. So thank you. Let's get right into this. Basically what I want to go through, or what we wanted to go through, I'm going to just leave that away because I just can't read like that and talk to you guys. It's not going to work. Is today, as you see in emceeing, in the genre, there's mainly two forms of emceeing, two main styles, which of course is the skipping, best personified by SAS, which we all know. I would hope so. If you don't know, this is a very fast style of emceeing, and usually accompanies jump up, and in this form, the MC is kind of the show, and the music is kind of the background. And the other side of the spectrum is the host MC, or, I don't know, a rapper, which I would say we both are, most definitely. Skipping's not for me, it's not for everyone. I think it's a great thing. I will say this, I think it's a great thing when you can do it right, like shout out Harry Shada, for real, and whoever's doing it proper, yeah? And if you're not doing it proper, you might want to leave that alone, all right? So let's just move on, okay. So, following the intro now, we're going to talk about the road taken. And Hal, if you'd like to say a few words on how you got to be where you are.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll try and make it a little bit short and sweet because I don't want everyone falling asleep. So, it was about 2004 that I was first introduced into drum and bass music. My mate came and sat next to me in class one day, and he had his earphones in, and he was listening to his CD player, CD Walkman, you know, the big round ones that wouldn't even fit in your pocket at the time. So you used to have a walk around carrying a plate. And he sat down next to me, and he was listening to some music, and I said, "Yo, Tom, what you listening to?" And he said, "Oh, this, you don't want to listen to this, mate." I went, "No, let me have a listen to what you're listening to." So I put the earphone in. It was I was like, "What is that?" He said, "That, mate, that's drum and bass. That's drum and bass music. That's the new CD by DJ Hype. That's Jungle Massive." I was like, "That's cool, innit?" So later, I got home after school that day. I was like, "Mom, can I have the new Jungle Massive CD by DJ Hype, please?" Yeah, it took me about a week and a half of begging my mum until she actually finally gave in and she got me this CD. Poor woman didn't know what she had let herself in for, you know. The household got very, very loud around about that time. All my friends would come home after school, come back round mine, and we would sit there. We'd taking turns of writing lyrics and emceeing. And granted, these lyrics were absolutely terrible at this time. We were screaming all sorts of nonsense down, like, oh, it was absolutely terrible. But, you know, it was fresh and it was fun, and we were all being creative, and we weren't taking it too seriously. We were just having fun with it. And I was like, "Mom, can I have a microphone to plug into my stereo, please?" My mum and dad, my poor mum and dad, every day the music's getting louder and louder, the lyrics are getting more ridiculous, but you know, we're all having fun. And by this time, I've turned my bedroom into the local youth club, you know. More and more of my friends are coming around after school and we're all MCing, we're all shouting silly lyrics down the microphone. But yeah, it was fun. Mum, can I have a pair of CD decks, please? You know, it's just getting more and more ridiculous, more and more loud. But my mum and dad came to terms with the fact that if we weren't all there under one roof, being creative and all writing these lyrics, then we were going to be out on the streets getting into trouble and doing God knows what. So, yeah, we was all just having fun. We weren't taking it serious. And it was only till like some years later that I started taking it a little bit more seriously. And I got my first couple of bookings in my local nightclub. And I remember after that, like the live factor of it, the adrenaline, the hair sticking up on the back of my neck. And I was addicted to it, you know. I couldn't get enough of it. So I carried on going with it. And I got in the studio, I think it was 2012. I got into the studio one day and I recorded my first ever vocals for a drum and bass feature. I hooked up with two drum and bass producers, two Russian producers. They were called M Rangers and Uberman. And we created a track called So Sharp. And it was signed to Citrus Recordings. And that's where it all started for drum and bass features for me, actually hearing my vocals professionally on a track, you know. That's where it all started. I then went on to work with the Italian stallion known as Maztec. We done 2 tracks together. One was called What We Bring. It came out on Renegade Hardware. The other one was called, what was the other one called? The other one was called Crank It Up, and that was signed to BTK's record label. And they both came out on vinyl. That was a very, very proud moment for me. Two vinyl releases, you know, I got them in the post and I showed them to my mum and dad and I said, yeah, now you can be proud. Sorry about all the nonsense I put you through. Anyway, so, you know, I carried on going with that. 2014, I then linked up with Optiv and BTK and we created a track for their album Blackjack that came out on Virus. We'd done a track called Ground Shaker. That was pretty cool. And then I hooked up with QO for Eat Brain's first ever album, Tales of the Undead. We'd done a track called... I
don't mean to interrupt you, yeah. But I told Gabor, I told Jade, that's my favorite track on that album. That is my favorite track. That's a badass track, okay?
That was one of my favorite features that I ever done as well. I think even Mindscape went on to do the remix of that later, and then that was a little bit nasty as well. So yeah, that was how I got in with the Eat Brain, and like I started releasing more tracks with more and more people. I then got picked up by Clayton from Renegade Hardware. He sent me a message one day and he asked me to come and MC down at one of the Renegade Hardware nights, the legendary Renegade Hardware nights. And I went down there, I did my thing, and then he hit me up the next day and he asked me to be a resident MC, and that was a proud moment for me to be like a resident MC for Renegade Hardware. 2 years I was a resident MC, and then sadly they've shut up shop recently this year, but that was a proud moment for me. And then just recently, I recorded some vocals for Audio and Prolix for Audio's new album, Beast Mode. We'd done a track called Creatures. That was signed to Ram Records, obviously. And then after that, I jumped on a plane. I came to Czech Republic. I got off at Prague. I got in the taxi and I came to Club Roxy. Yeah. And then that was a bit, I'm here talking to all you guys. That's my story so far. You know, it's very short and sweet. I hope I didn't bore any of you. Is anyone asleep out there? Wake up, wake up. It's time to wake up. But yeah, that's my story so far. So thank you for listening, you know.
Once an MC, always an MC. No, okay, yeah, that's crazy. It's maybe even a little bit more family orientated than mine. My story is a bit strange. I'm from Boston, America, and I ended up in Mannheim, Germany as a soldier at like 18 or 19. And then that was around 2003. I went to my first show. It was Raw Hill Crew Live. It was MoFi Live. It was Jungle Ain't Sellin' Live. The MCs, it was like Eda K, Kraskin, Royce, Free Steppa, and some other DJs there, some local DJs. And then the MCs, Navi, Raga Twins, Spider, Daddy Freddy, everybody was there. Everyone was there, and I'd never heard drum and bass before, and it was a nice venue like this. And I went in there and saw that show, and it changed my life. It changed my whole life. I ended up leaving the Army, staying in Europe, because Europe's rad, skateboarding, snowboarding, and sleeping on couches, doing shows for free, paying the entry for years. Like going as a fan, loving the music. The MCs would ask me if I could teach them the rap, and I would only trade that if you teach me how to skip. Years later, I got rid of the skipping, so, okay, just to be fair. But when you get into it at that time, that's what everyone was doing. That was what it was, and it was amazing. It was a great time in drum and bass. It was a great time in my life, and it inspired me a few years later to run my own events, and that's when I became a promoter in Mannheim, and I threw events for about 4 years there. And at that time, I was pretty in love with the scene, so I stayed involved in the scene and was throwing events, and on the side started to, this is a little bit of dirty history, but we'll let it out, produce, and I released a few tracks with a label in London. Don't Google it. You can't find it, I promise. No, you can, but just don't do it. And I also, through that same label, started hosting like radio, like illegal radio, but like streaming from Mannheim, but then over the channel in England, so that was pretty cool. Events became too stressful. That's shout out to all the promoters in the world, because that sucks. Congratulations on what you do. Thank you. And then I kind of tried to start up my own agency. So I had this for like a year. But to be very honest, brutally honest, it was the same year that Graham started. So there was no hope. And then after that, let's see, it was fan, promoter, agent, radio. Then we got to like 2011 or 12, when I also, like, after 8 years in doing it, got in the studio and laid down my first track, which it didn't go to Citrus. I did a lot of stuff on Citrus too in the beginning, which is kind of, it's cool how similar our stories actually are, because we didn't talk about this. He lives in England and I live in Germany, and we knew that we would tell this, but he didn't tell me a story. So that is, I find that really interesting. Citrus is a great label. It's a great starting point, and there are a lot of great labels that are smaller with a dedicated staff, good people, and I got lucky and signed my first track to IMLTD in Paris, and shout out to Bastian. And from there, it kind of became, all I wanted to do was release tracks. I think in my first year, and I'm sure it went under the radar, I released 35 tracks or something. And I kind of bounced my way around every label till I landed with some bigger collabs on Eat Brain and found a home in Eat Brain and Blackout and Virus, and I'm very proud to represent those labels. And at the same time, I try to do a lot of liquid too, because I don't like to get, cornered. And that's pretty much it. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm starting a bunch of new projects and signed to a bunch of different things. And the only one that I can say at this moment is that I started this month as an agent at Cybergroove. So that is the next step for me, or one of the next steps that's going to come in my career, because it's just time to do that in this masterclass to everyone here. So that's my story. So, enough with the blah blah. Now we come to the part where we would do an a cappella session, which we have kind of...
We come into the real blah blah now.
Yeah, now we come to the real class. So we've gone through everything. Basically, we just wanted to show you, no matter what you want to do, there's a million ways to do it, and there's a million roads that you could take, and everyone is special in its own way. And almost every job is fun, although I did quit them all to be an MC. I
think the main thing about both of our stories is there is no shortcut. You can't just jump into this thing and expect it to blow up straight away. You've got to wait. You've got to have patience for this thing. It's not an overnight thing. Like some lucky people, yeah, maybe, but don't expect it to just blow up like that. You've got to put the time, you've got to put the effort into it, and you've got to put the passion into it, yeah? You've got to have the heart to do this thing. So if you've got all of that, then why not give it a shot, you know, and give it your best shot, so. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have much more to say on that. I will say this one thing. I remember Chemo once told me, for success in music, all the stars have to align up just right for a person at the right time. And I think that is true, but you can also make your own luck. So just be a good person, do your thing, and never let anyone hold you back. And that's kind of that. And for the acapella session, you want to spit bars, you want to go back and forth, you want to do a 32. It's
Whatever's cool, man. Do you want to start it? Do you want to start it off?
I would like. There's one acapella that I've had with me since 2007 or 8 that I did want to touch, and it is because at that time when I wrote this, I was working still. I was like working in a warehouse, and this was driving the forklift in and out of the LKV to unload stuff, and I had no MP3 player. And I rhymed line for line until I built a song. Yeah, so I would definitely.
Go for it, man. I want to hear it.
I'm gonna skip the first verse because what I've done is the second and third verse I've actually released in different songs. So I'm just gonna dive right into them. And it just goes, so if you're gonna do it, then do it and do it live. Stay true to yourself and you'll easily survive. Like you pump you up, the world break you down. That's why people be freaking on the weekend and going out. This is like a little, that's enough like to dive in anyways. And so to build this, like a lot of my lyrics, when I listen to myself, I kind of, and would be a big tip that I have, when I started, I wanted to be Skibba, Shaba, fucking everyone else. Do you know what I mean? But in reality, I grew up on Trent Reznor, Rage Against the Machine, A Tribe Called Quest, like the most random things ever, like from one side and the other. I was in a punk band when I was in my teenage years. I was in a ska band. I was in a metal band just recently, a few years ago. And so it took me a long time, like 8 years, to realize, like, fuck all that, like, leave all that alone and do my own thing. And that should be what you do too, if this is what you want to do. Just in my lyrics, I hear all those influences. When I listen back to it, I hear the Rage Against the Machine, fighting the system. Every song's about politics. I hear the, I don't know, Tribe with the way it flows, the old school style, and I'm not trying to no, but you know. So yeah, that would definitely be something that I would say.
I hear that, man. I was the same, but I wanted to be Eminem. I wanted to be Eminem, you know? Either that or Dr. Dre or something. So that used to rub off on a lot of my lyrics, you know, early hip-hop influences and that. So yeah, and it is only until you take a step back and really look at it until you think, right, I'm going to stop trying to do what he's doing and do my own thing. And, you know, it's true, yeah. Right, I think before I do this, you could probably turn the bass down a little bit on the mic. I don't know who's controlling my mic or whatever, because I've got a pretty bassy voice as it is anyway, you know? You up there, you know, sound engineer. Just turn down the bass a little bit on the microphone. I don't want to. Right, these lyrics, these are, again, like, I've released these lyrics before. These are lyrics on an actual track, yeah? Like they're called Break the Rules, yeah? We tear the barriers down. We sabotage the operation that they're carrying out. As you're walking through the vortex of more laws and more threats, ignore them. Let your thoughts stand out from the crowd, so stand proud. Representing a minority, opposite the crowd. Facing the majority, doing what they told to do. Systems controlling you, pulling on them thin puppet strings, looking over you. It is when it ain't. Play it cool when it's hot. It is when it isn't. Just let them think it is when it's not. Tell them fast forward, then reverse the hands on the clock. Keep it deceptive. Don't give them what they expecting. The dice always change, but the game stays the same. Some blame the player and the player blames the game. Paying no attention to what they are saying when they say it. If you know the rules to the game, then break them when you play it. Break the rules. Yeah, that's Break the Rules. Them lyrics, they're not I'm not telling you to break the rules. I'm not telling you to go down to the shop and kick the window in. No. Kick the window in and steal the TV in the window. No, it's more about it's more about going against the grain, you know, not standing with the majority and being the minority and standing up for something that you believe in. It only takes one or two people sometimes to stand back and not go with the crowd, not follow the crowd, and do your own thing, and people take note of that, you know. So that's one of my typical flows anyway, man. Back to Kryptomedic.
I like that. That was sick, and I like that. Yeah, I really thought he was talking about breaking the rules, and not like, you know what I mean. He just broke it down for me too. I did not know that. I like that. I'll have to write some lyrics about stealing TVs and that another time. But yeah, we'll do a spin-off of that one. Yeah. Steal from the rich and give to the poor. So now I'm going to jump into one. This was one that I wrote in 2005, and I'm still kind of waiting to drop it. But as a acapella, it's dope. So we'll just get right into it. In 2003, I was strapped with an M249, ready with shells to propel on an enemy contact. The knowledge I gained would later maintain the check in the frame, check. Like 21 weeks and countless phases, buzz cut heads and complacent faces. Everybody moving so we keep it intact. Some people seem to have what some others lack. Early to rise, we sneaking up on the dawn. 5.56 millimeter release, you're gone. Jail or service, choose which hurts less. Thinking of a way, but you can't reverse it. Down to Georgia, I got my run on. Wings on the chest, cause I got my jump on. Pleasure is pain and pain is pleasure, whatever. Get your head in the game, cause the game go forever. Pleasure is pain and pain is pleasure, whatever. Get your head in the game, cause the game go forever.
Yeah, awesome. I like how at the end of that, it was a very chorusy kind of effect, you know, that very chorusy. So you're going to be releasing them soon, yeah?
We'll see. It's been recorded. We'll say that much.
Okay. I feel like this is some sort of like battle or something now. We're in like 8 Mile or something, yeah? So everybody with the 313. Right, okay. So next up from me, So Sharp lyrics. It's so sharp, amputation of the cold heart. We put the beat back in your heart to make your pulse start. From acoustic to musical programs, it's not the weapon, it's the heart that makes the soul jar. It's in your blood, it's the reason for breathing. Flowing through your arteries, keeping your heart beating. I even dream about music when I'm sleeping. Sometimes music is the only thing that I believe in. Cause music is my only line of work. If music is chemistry, call me Heisenberg. Like Pinkman, I'm getting busy in the kitchen, mixing up the remedy to lighten the nerves. So let's mix the potions and go with emotions, and let the music play, let it flow like oceans. Shut your eyes and get to know your emotions, and give the music to your ears, all your devotion. So sharp. So sharp.
Yeah, man, that was tight, man. That's good. So we're going to close up this acapella session here, but we want to give you a few notes on kind of some things. And so with my acapellas, with my written, with my flows, it's kind of very topic orientated, yeah? It's like I tell a story, yeah? But at a show, it might be... It can be really, really different. Like a lot of my show flows and a lot of songs have come from freestyles at shows. So I'll just spit a few of them real quick that you can get a feel for that. I have one where I rhyme the word, and you can't steal it because I've recorded this and this is coming out. Okay, so I rhyme any word I can and throw digital between it. Because we're doing like neuro, and there's these moments where it's just hype. And I just start going, it's a digital age, and it's a digital day, and I got digital rage, and this is digital hate, and I got digital love, and this is digital days, and these are digital ways, and blah, blah. It's a million different ways that I can just keep going digital. But the fans and the people are like, oh my God. And you're like, damn, upgrade the mainframe. And they're like, oh, blah. So it's just kind of about, It's about being free when you're doing your things and just having fun. And like a lot of it, and a lot of it is kind of, if I can't think of what to say, and that happens a lot, I don't know my lyrics. A lot of fans know my lyrics much better than I do. But I do know Tribe Called Quest. I do know all those bands from before. And there's a lot of times that I'll just be standing there and throw big up is a stick up. Hey, they're going to go with you, man. And it's not about stealing lyrics. It's not about like I didn't write anything. I've written. I'm not afraid of it. It's about having fun. It's about having fun. So it's kind of like I don't listen to Nuklear stuff because I don't want to steal anything. I've never heard anyone's stuff. No copper, no nothing, no anyone, not myself, nobody. I try not to. But that old shit, I will steal from that left and right with no end to it. I love to spit Beastie Boys. I love to spit all of that, man. That's kind of where my show is and how my acapellas. There's a lot different than the written. And now we'll get into the written, and I think we'll start with Nuklear, and we'll just throw it into what I think about this. What I'm doing right here on the screen, what you can see behind me is when I write music, I get a song sent to me and I put it into a freeware wave program. So it could be WaveLab. I use Audacity. It kind of doesn't matter. I know a lot of people are going to hate on Audacity. Whatever. It works for me because I can see the wave. I can see what I'm working with, and I can kind of, I know it's building. I can see the song builds. You better build with it. Things like that. So let's get right. You want to start off with, who do you start off with? We'll pull up your lyrics. Kill Code.
I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll start off with Kill Code here.
Kill Code.
I love that song. I mean, to be honest, and I've never said this to you, I got a vinyl release on that album.
Oh, stop it.
And I was shocked that it was not Kill Code because that was a banger. Let It Roll used it, and I know you all know that song.
Yeah. I like that one as well. Do you know what? When that came out, though, I was with some girl at the time, and I got a little bit caught up with her, and I kind of forgot about music, and for about a year it was popping off. That track apparently was banging off all over the place. Apparently Let It Roll, everyone was loving it. Mickey from Let It Roll told me that track was like an anthem out here, like a national anthem. And like I didn't even know about it, you know. I only found out like last year that everyone was loving that track. So, and then Mickey said when people just getting about sick of it, everyone was getting sick of it after about a year, then Mindscape went and done the remix, and then everyone was loving it again. So, you know, but yeah, Kill Code.
All right, so what we're going to do here is just take a quick listen. The lyrics are here.
They're here, there, and everywhere on this one.
So we're just going to hop in and take a quick listen. Then we're going to turn it off and let him talk about what he's done with this.
You know what? You can take it back a little bit more because a little bit more. Yeah. Because the vocals are coming in a little bit. They're just in the background here. You can turn it up a bit if you want, yeah? There we go.
Drive that track out of the streets. Fasten your seatbelts, prepare to embrace. Cause I'm trying to brace. Drive me that track out of the streets. It's nasty, it's evil and everything that relates. Fasten your seatbelts, prepare to embrace. Cause I'm cutting your brakes.
Do you guys know that moment that you're giving an MC masterclass and the tune is playing, you just want to let it go?
Yeah, I get that feeling, yeah. We could all just have a rave right now. Should we just forget about the masterclass and start skanking out or something, yeah? We'll have a party instead. Right, like I said, at the beginning of this, you notice QO brings the vocals in the background very softly. And then instead of just bringing them in all of a sudden very bluntly, he's teasing you in with them, and then they come in. And if you notice about these lyrics, I sound like the devil or something. I don't sound like me. I sound like a nasty person, like possessed. So I said, I still want to sound like it's me. So he said, no. I said, it might sound too evil. He said, no, it's not evil enough. It's not evil enough. Let's make it more evil. So I was like, oh, okay. So I sound like the devil on this track, but you know, it worked. It's cool. And yeah, there's the lyrics up there, man. Yeah, even I forget the lyrics on this one sometimes, but yeah. But yeah, he went with the option to mess around with my voice and use some different effects and really make it sound an evil, which worked with the track. It really did work with the track, you know, so I was pleased with how it came out. But there, the lyrics up there, yeah, cool things.
Yeah.
So did he tell you what to write about, or was this a free...
No, you know what? With this one, I think I sent him the vocals first and he built the track around the vocals. See, in this thing, with us being vocalists, the producer can either send you a track that he's already been working on, and then me and Mike will sit there and write lyrics around the track, and we'll come up with a vibe or something, and we'll come with something that we think is going to fit the track. Or we do it the other way around. We will send them the vocal first, and then they get the ideas. They get the ideas, and they build the track around our vocals. So there's always two ways to do this thing. You know, I don't mind. Either way is cool for me, because I'm excited. When I send them the vocal, I'm excited to hear what's coming back. And sometimes, you know, sometimes I'm like, nah, I didn't really think it was going to sound like that. But sometimes I'm like, whoa. You know, I'm shocked, but that's the exciting part about sending your vocals off to someone and hearing what's going to come back, you know? So, yeah.
Sick.
All right, yeah, that's also for me. I find some producers are very specific. I've literally been told, like, I've been sent a tune and it was like rap about Native Americans. For real. And I was like, okay. Like, some people can be super specific and some people can be... leave you a lot of freedom, yeah? For my tune that I wanted to break down, I've picked a less obscure producer than maybe some of you guys have not heard. But lyrically, it was a tune that I'd like to get into for sure. So let's dive in. This is L-Tech featuring myself out on Dark Maneuvers. The song is called Flint. And it, yeah, kind of just flexes.
Futuristic, minimalistic bad boy, calling out to the people, get them on the run, we making mad noise on them. Political voices, changing up their choices, speaking up for the kids. When I'm on the mic, I'm making more sense. No verbal nonsense, we all about we're artists. Silence over syllables and silence over bullshit. Silence over bullshit. Futuristic, minimalistic bad boy, calling out to the people, get them on the run, we making mad noise on them. Political voices, changing up their choices, speaking up for the kids. When I'm on the mic, I'm making raw sense. No verbal nonsense, we all about real artists. Substance over syllables and silence over bullshit. Silence over bullshit. Spark the fire, we want no more code. Information pile up, the files overload. Transmit data, we sport onto the locate. Deeper with the fundamental properties we rotate. And know where to come back with the beat back, I'ma be that. And every time I run that, I'ma be that. Y'all better believe that, ha. We run this rhythm. This shit is my rhythm, ha. Run the rhythm. This shit is my rhythm, high. Run the rhythm. This shit is my rhythm. Run the rhythm, high.
Nice.
Cool. So that is Flint. And the reason that I wanted to get into this one is because it's kind of like a full-formed idea. Like, it's a little bit like of a song format almost. And the thing that I tried to do with these lyrics was to play with it and actually skip, because I don't like skipping, but just to be like, I can do that too. So, and a lot of the lyrics, when you look at it, it started off with this futuristic, minimalistic bad boy, but I wrote it at this speed right here. Calling out to the people, get them on the run, we making mad noise, all them political voices, changing up their choices, speaking up for the kids. When I'm on the mic, I'm making raw sense. And so what I definitely tried to do with this was, it's very important to me when I'm skipping that it's actual words and makes like a lot of sense. But then I play with it, because I've actually gotten in fights, and I'm not going to say with who, with some UK MCs who were like, yeah, but like, you know, then you talk bullshit. And I was like,
Hey, leave it out about the UK.
no, I'm just saying this has been addressed. And so, but that person didn't know why I did this or what was in my head. So I say at the end of that little skipping fast part, substance over syllables, like content over speed, and silence over bullshit, which a lot of time, like every time, for example, Let It Roll comes, I host that song like this. Because it's a banger, dude, yeah? So anyways, I have this silence over bullshit part and blah, blah. But then at the very end, I say, run, the rhythm, this shit is my rhythm, ha. It's the biggest, the bullshit, retarded, dumb, stupid, idiot. It's retarded. But it wasn't like, I was like, someone told me to do it. I was high as hell. And I was, because I write like that. And I was like, so I get into writing and I just kind of go at it. And I was like, haha,
It sounds good. It sounds funky. It's vibes.
And
if it sounds good sometimes, you just got to do it, you know?
That's what it is. So it was like just sounding good, and it was like a joke, and so I went with it. But yeah, I have heard those comments like that's total bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know. But yeah, that one's mine. We can do, I think, one more each, and then we can do a closing up.
Stand down then. Stand down. This one's Stand Down out on E-Brain. This was L33 and me. We teamed up and done a track. Yeah, this one, he sent me the track and I heard the lyrics. I heard the track and I came up with the lyrics. Like, so I just thought that this track sounded very funky and it just reminded me of military business, like army-based stuff, and you know, so yeah, let's have a listen.
There's an airstrike incoming, raining from the clouds. It's the shell shock, ricochet, shaking up the ground. Fall back. With alert, sound of silence through the town. It's an incoming artillery inbound. Step back. You don't got no backup, so back up and stand down.
Yeah, so that. Basically, like I said, the lyrics, I'll do the lyrics again for you. It's red alert, heat seeking with the sound. There's an airstrike incoming, raining from the clouds. It's the shell shock, ricochet, shaking up the ground. Fall back. Red alert, sound of sirens through the town. It's an incoming artillery inbound. Step back. You don't got no backup, so back up and stand down. So it's basically all about like, you know, just warfare sort of sounds, you know, like twist, like just army dropping bombs, that sort of thing, you know. But that track for me, that's one of my favorite tracks recently that I've done. L33 is pretty sick. But if you notice before the drop, he pulls down the vocals, yeah? He pulls the vocals down, he brings in a low tone to it, so it's bringing also that evil effect to it. So you got to get the effects sounding right as well sometimes. It's good to sound like, not mess about with the vocals, but sometimes it works to pull the vocals down, you know?
On that note, I often hate my own voice, and if you listen to a lot of my songs, it's tweaked either up or down or sideways or whatever the hell backwards. And I kind of prefer that because like I listen back to it and it's awful. But if you're doing it and it's kind of like, if the studio guy at least, if he's like go with it, because usually the producers are just badass wizards. So that's kind of it.
Yeah, but have you ever worked with them producers that send you back and the vocals just sound terrible and you've got to tell them, no, I do not like that bit there?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, I've had a few of them so far, and it's like, you know, you're lucky.
Yeah, so okay, we're gonna move into, I guess, the last one, and then do about 10 minutes of little chit chat, whatever, and closing remarks. I don't know why I opened up the internet, want to browse, check my Facebook. Don't laugh. So okay, no, seriously, don't laugh. All right. Let's see. Normally, I have this all listed in this kind of in the order I'd like to do it, but I'm gonna skip the next one and go just make a comment about Just for Love. Just for Love was a 100% freestyle that I just recorded into my phone when I had the tune. And I'm just going to play it really, really quick that you can hear it. But it was just totally vibed out, whatever. And it's just totally different. And the next one we'll get into lyrics.
Can't be real to one another. Can't say what we mean, can't say what we want. Just gotta say what's gotta be said to get by. Another day, another lie.
Okay, but anyways, all I wanted to say was like, just, you know what I mean, go with whatever feels good to you. This is a hip-hop song. It is hip-hop, jazz hip-hop. It's out on Fusion. It's on Row Peace's album. It exists. So don't worry about like labels and genres and all that stuff. So the one that I really want to get into, just because like I'm a little cheeky, is labels. And this one is kind of like, for me, and I want to be honest where I got this inspiration for it. So the inspiration for this song stems from my past. And there's a rapper, one of my favorite rappers of all time, named Last Emperor. And in the late 90s, the Last Emperor made 2 tracks called, I don't know, Underground War or Battle. I'm so sorry I don't have the name off the top of my head right now. But basically what he did was he took all of his favorite rappers and put them against comic book characters in a song. But he did all the voices for all the rappers. And it blew my mind. So then fast forward 15 years, I'm drunk as fuck, whatever, blah, 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 after a party, and I'm rapping with some friends as we go out to get a schnitzel at 4 a.m, because that's what you do in Germany. So I kind of just had the very first line, and that was it. And then the idea just went from this. So the first line was, I was breaking before bad existed, and we'll let the track play from there and show you the lyrics.
I was breaking before bad existed. I was broken before you knew English. Chill with players, you knew it was true. Critical before critical ever knew. So much metal in my head, I found an exit. Feeling close to death, something got me in a death grip. Sword of mine, position in chrome. Released from the hospital before going home. Intelligent man, I spit on some recordings. Trusting the music with a love for the audience. Simple with solutions, subtitles between the lines of evolution. Bust the flow. Do what I feel. Do what I know. A full force like the nature of earth. I be the viper in the grass, the vibration, the dirt. My cause for concern, yo. A blast that can detonate. Swords like a shogun, hardware like a renegade. Contact dispatch, horizon on the rise. No blackout in the sun, this is the wisdom of the wise. I feel a duty to the audio, so that's what is standard.
that's what's standard.
Cool. So this is out on Citrus. It is myself featuring Emphasis, Flage, Kaiser, and the song is called Labels. It is basically my little ode to drum and bass, where I listed 36 labels in the lyrics. So I'm just going to jump in real quick and do it again, and then that's it. So it was, I was breaking before bad existed. I was broken before you knew English. Chilled with players, you knew it was true. Critical before critical ever knew. So much metal in my head, I found an exit. Feeling close to death, something got me in a death grip. Saw to mind, positioned in chrome. Released from the hospital before going home. Intelligent man, I spit on some recordings. Trust in the music with a love for the audience. Simple with solution. Subtitles between the lines of evolution. And so that was it. I just had this random idea, an ode to hip hop, which like an underground little thing for myself, and yeah, I went for it, and it's three little things there. I like where it says, like, I don't know, my cause for concern, a blast that can detonate, swords like a shogun, hardware like a renegade, shit like that. That's me, and so that's it.